Man, I'm just going to quote The Godfather Part 3 right now. I'm just going to quote it right now on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon here in Central Illinois. Just when they thought they were out, the NCAA and college football committee or whoever's in charge pulls them back in. And yes, of course, I'm talking about Michigan because why not? It's not over. And I kind of had a feeling that it wasn't over, but it's not over. And it's especially kind of fitting that we're talking about this and all this stuff's coming out when we have to talk and recap the Big Ten Media Days for 2024 as we gear up for the 2024 college football season here on Pigskin Frenzy. It is August 5th. Beautiful day. We're going to get started. We're going to talk about some Michigan Wolverine football and where they're at with the latest allegations and the scandal going on right now. And we're going to recap the Big 10 media days for the 2020 as we gear up for the 2024 season. Welcome to Pigskin Frenzy on this wonderful and beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Joel Norris. Whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, listening on Podbean or Apple, a big thank you for taking some time out of your Tuesday to just sit back, watch, and listen and relax and listen to some college football coverage presented by me. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like each episode, leave comments down below. Spotify, Podbean, and Apple, all you have to do is just share around with others and follow on there as well. X, Instagram, and Facebook, just type in Pigskin Frenzy. Follow, like the pages there. You're going to get episode updates. You're going to get news and highlights from across college and NFL football. You're going to get trivia questions on Instagram stories. Go and answer today's college football question, as well as all things up to date for Pigskin Frenzy. Guys, www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. There you're going to find all things up to date for Pigskin Frenzy. Home and About Me page to learn more about me. There's contact info. You can ask your questions, email me, and I'll get to your questions, as well as the platforms page. All the platforms I just mentioned, go and listen and touch base with Pigskin Frenzy on those platforms, including our affiliations page, and which brings us to our proud partner of this podcast, the Beard Club. Guys, if you want an excellent shave, my stubble kind of growing back, like I keep saying. I may even grow a beard so I can use some of their products. The Beard Club is where it's at. You can get amazing products with the Beard Club, and it's quite honestly probably some good things that can happen to you with the Beard Club if you're single out there. Wink, wink. And if you have a significant other, if you're listening to this show and male counterparts, you're gonna not want to miss what I have to say. Beard grooming kits are 25% off right now. The beard grooming kits come with beard oil, beard balm, beard and face wash, boar bristle brush, comb, razors, and more with the beard grooming kit. Not only that, man, you get loofahs, you get 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, body wash, and more at the Beard Club, and body wash at the Beard Club. Guys, you're not going to want to miss it. 25% off right now with the code GOLD25 for the Beard Games 2024 sale right now. Just go to my website, www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. There you will find the affiliations page. Click on the affiliations page. You can go and click on the Beard Club logo. It will take you to the site. You can also go to my link tree. Go to my link tree on my X bio, my Instagram bio, and my Facebook bio, as well as the description of this YouTube video down below. There you will click on the link tree. Click on the Beard Club link from there, and it will take you to the Beard Club site. The Beard Club, proud partner of Pigskin Frenzy. Thank you for being our partner, and go and get those beard grooming kits and other products. Code is GOLD25, 25% off at the Beard Club, proud partner of Pigskin Frenzy. Guys, and we're not done with promoting because we have 2 weeks left until our season annual Kick the Season Off giveaway, our second annual Kick Off the Season giveaway. This time it's college football, and we're calling all SEC fans, calling all college football fans, and calling all Mississippi State fans right now. It is time to enter this free giveaway from Pigskin Frenzy. The giveaway includes a free large Mississippi State long sleeve black t-shirt, 2 Pigskin Frenzy stickers, and a shout out on August 20th episode of Pigskin Frenzy. All that for free. The rules are simple. This is number 1, follow Pigskin Frenzy on Facebook and Instagram. Number 2, share this post on your Facebook and Instagram story with the hashtag PF Podcast Giveaway and tag us at Pigskin_Frenzy. Not only that, number 3, tag 2 friends in the comments down below on each post. Additional entries are subscribe to Pigskin Frenzy on YouTube, follow Pigskin Frenzy on Podbean, and follow on X at Pigskin_Frenzy. Entries stop August 18th at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 Eastern, 5 Mountain Time, 4 Pacific. And the winners will be announced via Instagram story, Instagram post, and Facebook post on August 19th at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hashtag PF Podcast Giveaway. What are you waiting for? Enter the giveaway right now. You're not going to want to miss all the free things. A couple of people have entered already. We need more people to enter. You're not going to want to miss out. Free giveaway, large black long sleeve Mississippi State Bulldogs t-shirt, 2 Pigskin Frenzy stickers, some more Pigskin Frenzy items like cards, as well as a shout out on this podcast episode. You're not going to want to miss it right now. Enter the giveaway. It's on Facebook right now. It's on Instagram. Go and enter it right now. College football day today. Let's get rocking and rolling. I can't wait. I'm excited. It's August 6th, 2024, the year of our Lord 2024. And ladies and gentlemen, we are 3 weeks out, technically 2 weeks out from college football, week 0, because obviously it's, week 0, Dublin game. Florida State and Georgia Tech are playing in Dublin, Ireland, week 0, August 24th. But guess what? The main week is August 31st to September 1st, week 1. 3 weeks out from week 1. We're 3 weeks out from college football. We're about to start covering some college football games here and start talking about some games. It's only a matter of time before the Frenzy rankings start coming out, and I am excited. Our last bit of Media Day recap coverage concludes today with the Big Ten, and it's fitting because of the news that keeps rolling out about the Michigan Wolverines, our defending national champions, and the scandal with the sign-stealing allegations going on from last season. More comes out. More Connor Stallions. More with Sherrone Moore, the new head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. He's involved. It's a lot of just, and in a weird word to put it, it's hoopla, right? It's a bunch of hoopla. And it just keeps coming out and rolling out. And it's like, oh my goodness, here we go, and we're going to get down to it. You're probably going to think, I don't really want to get down to it, but we're going to have to. We're going to recap Big Ten Media Days first, and then we'll conclude with the latest thoughts and allegations on the Michigan Wolverines team. We are about to be 8 minutes into this podcast. Let's get going with our Big Ten Media Day recaps. And we're going to kick it off with Brett Bielema in Illinois, the Fighting Illini, right here. I'm in Central Illinois, man, right here. I'm about an hour down the road from Champaign, Illinois, so I could go to an Illinois game if I wanted to this coming up season and see what's going on down there for the Fighting Illini. Brett Bielema and company are getting ready to enter the Big Ten. They're, another Big Ten season, rebuilding. And the big question that I had for the Fighting Illini this season was, what's going on with that defensive line, especially now that Johnny Newton's no longer with the Fighting Illini. He's with the Washington Commanders in the NFL. Newton was a big part of that D-line. How is that going to affect the rotation of the D-line, and how is that going to affect the physicality of that D-line and the depth of that D-line now that Newton's gone? That's a big question that I had entering this media day with Brett Bielema. Brett Bielema is excited. He is confident, and he is ready to be an underrated threat to the Big Ten. That's one of the 18 teams in it. That D-line, and that was a big question that was asked, was going to be fine. They just need to bulk up more on the defensive line, regain some depth, even though Newton was a big part of this program. Building up that D-line and building some confidence within that defense again, you can be a team to be on the lookout for this season. Let me go on and tell you something, man. Bro. This Illinois team, on defense last season was pretty solid. They had a very underrated defense in the Big Ten last season. They brought it to a lot of teams. Can they do that again? I think they lost a lot on defense. I'm not going to lie. They lost a lot on defense over the past couple of seasons. It's going to be a tough transition as we enter the 2024 season, but we need to focus on the rebuild of everything. We need to focus that this team is a rebuild right now, and still a rebuild after losing some key players in the draft. Now, am I saying that Illinois is going to be a team that's going to win some games? I think Illinois will win some games. I actually had them kind of in the middle of the pack for the Big Ten, in the conference standing projections, if I remember correctly. For the Big Ten, if I can just, go on really quick and see and look, as far as I know, I had them at 15. No, 15. I had them at the bottom, close to the bottom, but at 15. But to me, in an 18-team conference, 15 is low, but it's also getting up there with the middle of the pack. Big conference, a lot of teams. I think Illinois can be a team that can win some games, but also lose some games with the talent that they've lost. So that's my recap of the media day and what Brett Bielema was talking about with the defense. I think Brett Bielema is excited and confident about Illinois. But right now, it's kind of a rebuild. Let's just see where Illinois is going to go during the season. But Illinois right now in a rebuild stage. That's my recap of Illinois right now. Let's talk about Indiana, and let's talk about everything going on down there. Kirk Cinetti, Cignetti is now a part of the Indiana Hoosiers. Had a solid season with James Madison last year in the Sun Belt, entering his first year as a Power 5 head coach, taking over for Tom Allen in Indiana. The Hoosiers are ready to get fired up and ready to bring some energy to Indiana Hoosiers program they haven't seen in a long while. The only game that I saw that they were really competitive in was their first game against Ohio State. They brought it to Ohio State in the season opener last season. Can Kirk Cinetti fire up that team in the Hoosiers this season, and can he fire up and kind of like make them competitive in games that you didn't think that Indiana was going to be competitive in? He is. First off, is what he said in the media days, that he's fired up to be at Indiana, fired up to be a Hoosier, and he's ready to bring some electricity to Indiana. Big rebuild going on down in Indiana. My recap of everything is this. They're confident, but I just don't see anything worth noting right now going into this season where it's going to be a tremendous rebuild heading into next season. Maybe next season we'll see some significant upgrades, but right now it's still a rebuilding season. You just, in a way, you got to remember who you are in these scenarios. So my honest thoughts and my recap of Indiana is, could be a team that could show a little bit of promises towards the next step, but right now, still a young team, still a rebuilding team under first-year head coach Kirk Cinetti. Let's just see what happens with Indiana going into the 2024 season. That's my recap of the Indiana Hoosiers from their media day and what Kirk Cinetti spoke on about the rebuild and about everything going on coming up to this season. So that was my recap and my thoughts on everything with him. Let's talk about Iowa Hawkeye football, our third team entering now for this recap. Iowa Hawkeye football. How's the offense going to look now that Bryant Fruentz is gone, Kirk Fruentz's son, and he's gone? Tim Lester entering his first season as the offensive coordinator for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Previously on the Green Bay Packers coaching staff as an analyst, he is back in college football now as a offensive coordinator for the Iowa Hawkeyes. He was an analyst for the Green Bay Packers. So how's the offense going to look under him? Kirk Fruentz entering his 26th season as the Iowa football head coach. 26 seasons, entering 26 years as Iowa Hawkeye football coach. We're going to see how it looks. Defense looks fine. Obviously, we're not worried about Iowa's defense. Their defense is tremendous. Every season, their defense brings it, and they probably have, if not the best defense in the Big Ten every season. And, Phil Parker, entering his 13th year as defensive coordinator of the Iowa Hawkeyes, is going to bring a tremendous physical presence on defense. But what about the offense? The offense was kind of showing some lackluster moves during the year, getting minimal yards, scoring barely any points, but the defense was keeping them in games. The reason why they made it to the Big Ten championship was because of their defense. The big question is, how is it going to defer from his son's offense to Tim Lester's offense going into this season? What's it going to look like? Kurt Ferentz is excited about the offense. He's excited about the development. He's excited about scoring some points and showing that, hey, we can win games by scoring touchdowns and winning and scoring points besides just defense and hanging in there on defense. That's the main question everybody was asking. What's the difference between everything? Everything's going to be more spread out. It's going to be a more high pace, fast offense. Cade McNamara is back for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and he is ready to spread out that offense and score some points with Tim Lester. So my recap of everything is you got to believe it when you see it, right? It's kind of hard to sit and say, oh, their offense is going to be great, but you don't know until you actually see it on August 31st or throughout the season. My thoughts on the recap of everything is, yes, it shows like you're confident, but you also got to figure out what's going to go down during the season, and you got to wait. So that's my recap of Iowa and the what's going on during the season. We're going to move on here, but just going to have to wait and see. Maryland, the Terps are back. Mike Locksley entering his 6th season as football head coach. Back is Josh Gaddis, former Michigan offensive coordinator, now at Maryland as OC for now as Maryland as OC. Co-defensive coordinators Brian Williams, his 3rd season. Co-defensive coordinator Kevin Sumlin back in his 2nd season. He is back. He is ready to go. He is fired up, man. He is fired up. They lose Talia Tagovailoa. Still looking up. Still looking up and still, trying to see what's going on the offensive side of things. MJ Morris is at quarterback for this team. Redshirt sophomore, previously at NC State, now at Maryland. MJ Morris could be a solid addition to this team. You got Mikael White at wide receiver. You got a guy that could be a true threat on offense. Maryland on offense last season was a true threat to a lot of teams, played a lot of teams close, and Mike Locksley is ready to unleash more of that offensive style of play, especially under new quarterback MJ Morris, and shows what he can do in the Big Ten as well. Mike Locksley is excited, and he's confident that this team could do some wonders and could be at the top of the Big Ten this season. And Maryland is the team that I think they're going to be a middle of the pack team, maybe, but at the same time, you also got to not underestimate Maryland. Maryland had a lot of good things going for them last season. They played a lot of good teams that were a little bit better than they were, i.e. Michigan, i.e. Penn State. But their offense was electric. And if they're electric enough this season, they can upset some teams that you don't expect them to upset. So my recap is just that. Just watch out for Maryland and believe what Mike Locksley said at Media Days. He's confident, and he's thinking that they're going to be at the top of the Big Ten sooner rather than later. So watch out for Maryland. That's my recap of Maryland, and that's what I think of everything going on at Maryland. We're going to talk about them again at the end of the episode, but Michigan Wolverines, the defending national champions. And we're going to discuss new head coach Sherrone Moore, talk about him right now. First season, offensive coordinator for the past couple of years. He's back as the new head coach. The starting quarterback spot, who's going to start? It's trending more towards Alex Orji at quarterback. He's a dynamic dual threat. How is his development coming along? Donovan Edwards is the senior running back. He's back. And you got, you're going to rely on the ground game a lot. Is anything going to change? And is the mindset of Michigan going to change, especially with all the sign stealing allegations going on? Those were a lot of the questions that were asked at Media Day. Sherrone Moore says, no, the mindset doesn't change. We're the defending national champions, and we're going to come into this season and fight and play Michigan football and be tough and physical for every team in the Big Ten, and they got to watch out for us this season. They are the targeted. They are going to be the hunted, and everybody's going to want to beat Michigan. That's what he said. My thoughts on that is everything that he said was right. Everybody wants to beat Michigan right now, especially with all the allegations going on. They want to beat Michigan. They are the defending national champions. What I would watch out for a little bit is Don Martindale at quarterback. Not at quarterback, at defensive coordinator. Don at defensive coordinator from the Giants, now at Michigan. It's that Michigan defense is still going to be physical. They're still going to have a solid ground game with Donovan Edwards. I would still watch out for Michigan. I think Michigan's going to win some games, but they lost a lot, and it's going to be hard to sit and say that, hey, they are a national championship team this season. It's going to be hard to say that. So that's my thoughts on recap of Michigan going into this season. We're going to talk more about Michigan at the end of this episode, especially with a lot of the stuff going on with the sign-stealing allegations. Let's talk about their counterpart in Michigan, and let's talk about the Michigan State Spartans. Jonathan Smith entering his first season as head coach of the Michigan State Spartans, coming in from Oregon State. Excited about what's going on there. The rebuild is going on there. The big question was this: Aiden Childs at quarterback for this team going in from Oregon State. What's the key thing that they were asking about Jonathan Smith? And it's physicality. Are they going to bring that physical traits back to Michigan State that Mark D'Antonio brought to this team before Mel Tucker? Jonathan Smith knows that he believes in his heart that this team can be physical once again. That was my main question about Michigan State. Can they be physical once again? And this is my recap on them. I believe that they have a shot at being physical once again. They have a shot at being a physical running team, a physical team on the O-line, on the D-line, and all around the ball. They can be a physical football team and out-physical somebody to win games. It's what brought them to the dance before. It's what's going to bring them to the dance again. You got to be physical in this game. You got to be physical when playing against Ohio State, against Michigan, against Oregon now. You got to be physical in these type of games to win. So my honest thoughts and recap of everything is, can Jonathan Smith do it? Yes. Is it going to take some time? Absolutely. That's my honest thoughts on Michigan State. That's my recap of Michigan State and my Big Ten Media Days recap for Michigan State. Minnesota, PJ Fleck on the dock, and he's entering his eighth season as head coach of this team. Row the boat. Can Minnesota be a team that can turn everything around, and can they be a team where they can make it? Can they just make it, and not only that, go to bowl games consistently? Can they get on the right track? That's a big question for PJ Fleck in Minnesota. Last season was not the best of seasons for this team. They went 6-7. They went to a bowl game, but can they do it consistently? And 2 years ago, they went 9-4. They were a bowl team champion. They went to a bowl game in 2021. Can they keep on making it to bowl games? Can they keep being consistent? And can they finally, just up it even more? Can they do something in the Big Ten where they can shock a lot of people? That's my big question for PJ Fleck. PJ Fleck is big on, and he said this in Media Day. He is big on consistency. He's big on working hard to get there, and he believes in Minnesota, and he believes that his team can get there and take the right steps to get there. So my honest thoughts and recap is, we got to see it to believe it. Minnesota's a tough team, and they've always been a tough team with PJ Fleck being there consistently in bowl games. But we got to see what's going down there and what's going on, and as they keep on, rowing the boat and keep on getting there and trying to, achieve. And not just achieve bowl game wins, but achieve top dog status in the Big Ten. Can they do that one day? We just got to wait and see. That's my recap of Minnesota and PJ Fleck at Media Days. Let's just see what happens as they enter the season. Nebraska, hotshot quarterback Dylan Raiola. If you didn't see it on Instagram, he looks just like Patrick Mahomes entering fall camp. If you want to go see that picture, I would highly recommend. It's like a doppelganger of Patrick Mahomes. But Matt Rule at Media Days, man, he's confident. He is confident. Why? He said that this conference is better than any other conference, and that includes the SEC. Better than any other conference. Hands down. You got the defending national champion in the conference. You got Oregon, who's going to be a top 5 team entering week 1. A top 2 team in Ohio State entering week 1. Nebraska's he thinks they're going to be on the rise. Some of the best players play in this conference. He's confident in his team that they're going to be one of the top dogs again in the conference. Matt Rule is ready to go. He's fired up, and he believes that the Big Ten's the best. He believes that Nebraska is going to be the best in this conference again. And with Dylan Raiola at quarterback, this team is going to be feared once again, not only in the Big Ten, but in America in college football. He is kind of telling the truth. That's my recap on everything. He's kind of telling the truth. The Big Ten is up there. I'm not going to sit there and say that they're the best conference in college football. I'm just going to sit and say that they are one of the best conferences in college football. They're top 2 in best conferences in college football. Dylan Raiola, solid quarterback. Dylan Raiola can be a difference maker for this Nebraska Cornhuskers team. My recap is this. If consistently recruiting, recruiting consistently, if being there consistently, if he can do it, Nebraska will be atop of college football once again. Can they do it? We just got to see and wait. We just got to see and wait. That was Nebraska's recap and my media day recap for Nebraska for the Big Ten Media Days just happened. The Northwestern. Let's talk about Northwestern football as we move on and get through here. We got a few more teams to get to before we talk about the sign-stealing allegations. Let's talk about Nebraska, and let's talk about what's going on there. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Northwestern. We just talked about Nebraska. Northwestern, and what's going on there. Let's talk about David Braun. What a season he had last season, by the way. I was stunned at the season he had last season, especially with all the Pat Fitzgerald stuff and the allegations that happened with the hazing and everything. He beat everything last season. He went and won 9 games. Look at David Braun. He's back. He's ready to go. He is confident in his team this season that they are going to rise above everything and win more games. We got a lot of things to discuss. They got two big time games to open up the season: Miami, Ohio, and Duke. Can Northwestern be a team that could be under the radar? I said in the conference standing projections that they could be, that they're going to be a middle of the pack team. They got the personnel to do it. They have a shot at winning 8 games this season again. David Braun led them to a bowl game last season. They lost, but they led them to a bowl game. Won 9 games last season. Almost could have won double digits with winning one more extra game of the Big Ten last season. But can they be a solid team? To win and to be a team and be a threat, an underrated threat this season in the Big Ten? David Braun thinks that they got the personnel to do it and to go under the radar and to be a team to look out for this season. My recap is I think that they could. I think they're going to be a team that you don't want to underestimate. play hard and respect them, but don't underestimate them, and look forward to playing Northwestern on your schedule. So I agree with everything David Braun said. He's excited. He's confident about this season coming up in the Big Ten. I'm excited to see what Northwestern does now and next after what the season they had last season. That was my recap of Northwestern. That is what I'm looking forward to seeing with Northwestern, and we're going to see what happens going in to this season. In a few weeks. That was my recap of Northwestern. Let's talk about the top dogs of the Big Ten. That's Ohio State. Ryan Day back again. It is an all-in or nothing, all-in or just go-home scenario this season, especially with the roster they had now. He spent $20 million plus on NIL for budgeting for players. He's excited, he's confident, and he thinks that this team is going to be tougher, and the toughest team that he has had that he's had at Ohio State this season. He's got Jim Knowles back at defensive coordinator. Man, he's got Chip Kelly at OC. He has got Brian Hartline as the co-offensive coordinator for this team as well. Jim Knowles, third season, all or nothing. Will Howard at quarterback. He's got Quinshawn Judkins from the transfer portal from Ole Miss at running back. Trevion Henderson's back. Jack Sawyer is back. JT is back on defense. Mike Abuka is back at receiver. Seth McLaughlin at the O-line at center. He's got a loaded quarterback room, a loaded receiver room. 5-star freshman Jeremiah Smith going to be a problem going in at the receiving core this season. Got a loaded team. He is ready to go, and he said that, and he said that in his media day, and my media day recap is it's all or nothing. It is. If you can look at it, it's all or nothing for this team going into this season. With the rosters they have, they need to be in the playoffs. They need to be in the Big Ten championship. That's two things. They need to, one, beat Michigan again. And go back to beating Michigan. They need to probably be in the national championship. If you're watching me on YouTube right now, I'm holding up 4 things. That's 4 things that they could accomplish this season with the roster and the deals and everything they got, and the personnel that they got on this team. They are a top 2 going into preseason for a reason, because of everything I just mentioned. All in or go home. This is Ohio State this season. That is my recap for media days for Ohio State. That is what Ryan Day said. He is going all in, and he is ready to go, and he is fired up for this season. Let's talk about a team that could combat what they're doing up in Columbus, and that's in Eugene, Oregon. New Big Ten team, Oregon. Dan Lanning is excited about this team. Got Dylan Gabriel at quarterback. Got Evan Stewart at wide receiver. Got a loaded running back room, loaded receiver room, loaded offense. Quarterback room in the portal is good. Dante Moore is the future of this football team. He is ready to go. This could be probably, along with Ohio State, the most physical football team in the Big Ten. He's excited. He is ready to go. Dan Lanning says that he wants to be nowhere else but Eugene, Oregon. My recap and my thoughts on Oregon is he's right about everything. Oregon is going to be the second best team in the Big Ten. It could be the first if they overthrow Ohio State on October 12th and in the Big Ten Championship. Oregon is a problem, and they're going to be a problem this season based off their roster and personnel. Based off of what happened last season and how many guys are coming back for this team, Oregon's going to be a problem. They got Jabbar Muhammad leading the secondary. That's going to be a problem from the Washington transfer. That's going to be a problem for the Ducks. The O is back. Autzen Stadium is going to be rocking, and they're going to be probably one of the only teams that from the realigned Big Ten and that are new to the Big Ten, there could be a problem for the Big Ten. That's my recap on Oregon. That's my thoughts on Oregon. Dan Lanning's excited. I'm excited to see them. This is going to be a top 5 team in the preseason, no doubt. Let's talk about Penn State, the Nittany Lions, as we continue. James Franklin entering his 11th season with the Nittany Lions. Konechny is coming back or he's actually entering his first season. Andy Konechny is his first season, entering his first season as offensive coordinator for the Penn State Nittany Lions. New change at defensive coordinator as well. Juwan Snyder, first full year, second overall season as co-defensive coordinator for this team. Ty Howell, co-offensive coordinator, Juwan Snyder, first full year, second overall season as co-OC, along with Andy Konitnicki. And co-offensive defensive coordinator, let's see, co-defensive coordinator Anthony Poindexter for fourth season. Tom Allen from Indiana, his first season as head defensive coordinator, co-defensive coordinator Anthony Poindexter, another co-offensive coordinator as well, Ty Howell. So three offensive coordinators, two co-offensive coordinators, one full offensive coordinator, one full defensive coordinator, and another co-defensive coordinator for this Penn State staff. A lot of co's, a lot of coordinators for this Penn State staff, a lot of play callers entering this season. Can Drew Aller develop? That's the main question when we ask, as I rub my head talking about all these defensive coordinators. Can Drew Aller be fully developed entering this season? That's a big crutch, big thing to ask for entering Penn State. He's a top prospect. He was like a prodigy out of high school, going into Penn State and going into this season. Can he develop as he tries to make it into NFL draft scouts talks? And he's done a lot of things right, but can he develop mentally, and can he develop as a veteran quarterback in this game? He's got to develop in a lot of areas, which is decision making, crisp timing with his passes. Can he develop, and can the coaching help him develop, and change the coordinator develop him into being a veteran and a top quarterback prospect for his NFL future? We're looking for that. And can he lead Penn State to some games as a developed leader on offense? That's what we're looking for. That was the question. James Franklin is confident that Drew Allard will be developed even more, and that he is going to be a top quarterback in college football and in the Big Ten. James Franklin, we just have to wait and see. That's what we're waiting on, man. We're just going to have to wait and see here for Penn State coming up this season. That is my thoughts on Penn State, and that is my recap for Penn State. Ryan Walters in Purdue, he is back for the Boilermakers. We're going to have a brief recap on Purdue. Purdue is a team where they can be an underrated threat like they always are. We're just going to have to see what happens with Purdue and the Boilermakers. I think they are rebuilding in a lot of areas, and that is what we're asking for Ryan Walters. What's it like entering his second season? Still kind of rebuilding. You got a good staff together with Graham Harrell and his second season as OC, Kevin Kane back in his second season as DC. What's it going to be like? What's it going to look like under Ryan Walters? What's it going to look like? Are they going to make more improvements at Purdue? We're just going to have to wait and see. This season, they went 4-8 last season. Can they make and improve in a lot of games and win more games this season? He's confident that they do. He's confident that they will win more games, than they had last season. So we're going to see what happens with Purdue and see how they do this season. That was Purdue's recap, and our recap of Purdue as we enter the college football season. Rutgers is back, and let me go on and tell you something. Rutgers was not a bad team last season. Greg Schiano entering his 16th season as football head coach of the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. They won the Pinstripe Bowl last season, 7-6. They weren't good in conference play, 3-6, but they improved in a lot of non-conference games, which got them the nod to go to bowl, to be 6-6 to go to bowl games last season. Greg Schiano, watch out. Rutgers could do something, man. Rutgers could be a problem. Do I think so? Probably leaning towards probably not. But Greg Schiano and Rutgers could be an underrated problem for a lot of teams, and they could win some games you don't expect them to win. Watch out for Greg Schiano. Watch out for Rutgers. He's confident entering this season. He's confident they will win more than 7 games this season. He said it during media days. Watch out for the Scarlet Knights football team. That was Rutgers recap for my media days recap from Rutgers. And that is my full-on recap for the Scarlet Knights in media days. We got 4 more teams to talk about. UCLA, new realigned team. Let's talk about them. Eric Bieniemy as offensive coordinator, Deshaun Foster as head coach for this team. First season, Eric Bieniemy as first season. Malalo. I was trying to see it fully on the notes. First season as defensive coordinator, new staff. Can UCLA be an under the radar team in the Big Ten? I think they are rebuilding a lot. They lost a key part in their quarterback room with Dante Moore going to Oregon. They're going to have to rebound and find a way to rebound in a big time way, especially in this newly revamped Big Ten. Deshaun Foster is excited for the challenge of being the head coach at UCLA. He says he's going to bring the Bruins back to prominence. We are going to wait and see how they do this season as they enter the Big Ten. My recap is we're just going to have to wait and see. It's a believe it to see it season, and it's going to be a rebuild, so we're just going to have to wait and see about everything with UCLA. That was my recap of UCLA as they enter this season. First year staff for everything. Rebuild for sure for UCLA. Let's talk about their counterpart in Los Angeles, and let's talk about USC. Their rivals entering the Big Ten. Lincoln Riley entering his 3rd season as USC football head coach. Josh Henson, 3rd-year OC. Deonton Lynn, 1st season as defensive coordinator. 1st season as co-defensive coordinator for Eric Henderson. Alex Grinch is no longer there. How is the defense going to look? He says that this defense is going to become the best in college football. That's what Lincoln Riley said at the media days. He's confident that this team could be the top of the Big Ten. He's confident that this team could be a threat to a lot of teams in this conference, and Miller Moss could be the guy to lead them to it. Do I deny Miller Moss? No, I think Miller Moss is a good quarterback. I think that Miller Moss could do some stuff to LSU's defense in the opener. Big time opener, though. That defense at LSU could be a lot better, just like this USC defense entering this season with Blake Baker as new LSU defensive coordinator. Let's just see what happens during that September 1st Labor Day weekend opener in Las Vegas between LSU and USC. Big time matchup there. He's focused on that matchup. He's focused on winning the Big Ten and showing everybody that USC is still a top priority and still a top program in college football. It is a believe it to see it scenario. I have to believe to see what their defense is going to look like. I said the same thing about LSU during my media days recap with LSU. What's the defense going to look like? If your defense doesn't step up and it's just like it was with Alex Grinch, the offense, you can have a great offense, but you got to have a good defense to back that up. You got to have a good defensive coordinator and a good defensive plan to back everything up. If you don't have that, you're not gonna be able to compete in a conference with an Ohio State, with an Oregon, and with a Penn State, with a Michigan consistently. You got to watch out, especially Washington. Washington's gonna be good as well. You got to watch out. You have to watch out. That's my recap for USC. It's a believe it to see it thing. We got to wait until the LSU game. We got to wait until this season to see what's going on with USC's defense and this USC team. That was my recap of USC. 2 more teams. Washington, Jed Fish, new head coach at Washington, bringing guys in from the portal. Jonah Coleman coming in for their at the running back room. Will Rogers as graduate transfer quarterback coming in for this Husky football team. Jed Fish is excited to bring an exciting brand of Washington football now. Stephen Belichick, defensive coordinator and son of Bill Belichick at Washington as the defensive coordinator. Brennan Carroll as the OC, first season as well. Jed Fish, his staff's coming along nicely. He says that we're going to watch an exciting brand of Washington football in the Big Ten. A lot of good players and playmakers on this team, including Denzel Boston at receiver. Watch out for him. And he's excited about what this team can do offensively and defensively on the D-line for sure. We got to watch out for defensively. Let's talk about, though, my recap of this. He didn't mention the linebackers much. He didn't mention the secondary. The secondary took a hit with Jabbar Muhammad. It did take a hit. It did take a hit with him going to Oregon. We got to see what's going to happen with Washington. We got to see what's going to happen as they transition into the Big Ten. Runner-up for the national championship, defending Pac-12 champion, entering this season. We just got to watch out and wait and see in Husky Nation and see what Washington does. Do I think Washington's going to be a middle of the pack team? I do. I think they're going to have a good season. It's just going to be tough because there's a lot of good teams out there, including Oregon, including Ohio State, including Michigan. It's just going to be hard to see. You just got to wait and see. We just got to wait and see. Tough team, tough coaching staff, good roster that they're building up there with Jed Fish, solid football coach. We just got to wait and see what happens. And it could be a rebuilding year, and it could be an immediate impact team this season in the Big Ten. We just got to wait and see. That was my recap of Washington for their media days. Jed Fish is excited. He's ready to rock and roll as Huskies head coach in the Big Ten. Last but not least, Wisconsin, as we end the media day recaps and the media day recaps for college football teams and college football conferences. Wisconsin, Luke Fickell entering his second full season. Phil Longo, OC there, Mike Tressel, defensive coordinator, and co-defensive coordinator, familiar name, Alex Grinch, co-defensive coordinator for Wisconsin. I'm kind of skeptical of that. Defense, it needs to be a little bit better. They need to be physical. Can Alex Grinch turn into a better coach defensively at Wisconsin? We don't know. Questionable hire there, but Phil Longo at OC, developing with Tyler Van Dyke, transfer quarterback for Wisconsin, now there. Can Wisconsin improve and take that next step at winning football games? I got them at middle of the pack in the Big Ten. I think they can win some ball games and win some games that you don't really expect them to win. Alabama's on their schedule. That's going to be a tough one at home, tough out-of-conference schedule there. They got a lot of teams that they got to play. Luke Fickell's excited about that one with Alabama. He's excited about where the program is headed. They asked him about the Alex Grinch hire. It's going to be, he thinks that he can develop as a better coordinator and a better coach here at Wisconsin. My recap and my thoughts with Luke Fickell is we got to see it to believe it. Let's see what happens with Alex Grinch as co-DC. I'm questioning it a little bit, especially with how he did in the Pac-12 and in the in the Pac-12 with USC. Let's see how he does at Wisconsin, and let's see if it turns into a better coach. They got to be physical, and they got to be ready to go in this tough Big Ten, recap team, and this tough Big Ten slate, and this tough Big Ten alignment and Big Ten 18-team Big Ten conference. So that's my recap of everything with Wisconsin. Good luck to Luke Fickell. Let's see what he does, and let's see how he does in the Big Ten going into this season. That's my recap of all 18 teams in the Big Ten Media Days. That was my Big Ten Media Days recap for this season. And that concludes all of the Media Day coverage for Pigskin Frenzy as we get ready for the college football season, as we gear up for the preseason, and as we gear up for next week. Before we conclude today's episode of Pigskin Frenzy, I told you we were going to talk about it briefly. Let's talk about the Michigan Wolverines, the sign-stealing allegation. More stuff came out, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not joking about this. More stuff came out with Connor Stallion. Do you remember that guy? Hi, Connor, if you're watching. More stuff came out, and it involves head coach Sherrone Moore. Allegedly, he has deleted 52 texts to Connor Stallions that involve sign-stealing allegations, that involve everything that was going on with tickets to games, with everything scouting opponents and everything going on there. This is according to the Detroit Free Press. If you don't believe me, all credit goes to them. He allegedly deleted 52 texts with messages with former Wolverine analyst Connor Stallions, and this is a level 2 violation. On the same day in October, media reporters indicated that Stallions was the man behind the off-field sign-stealing operations, he could face a suspension and a show cause penalty. That's a level 2 violation. That's a pretty serious violation for Sherrone Moore. He could face suspension. He could also face a show cause penalty and more violations and more penalties for this level 2 violations by the NCAA. So, one punishment that was not mentioned, and it was mentioned by ESPN, according to ESPN, they will not be stripped of their national championship. So the national championship stripping off the table. Suspension and more penalties coming up in the near future on the table still. They're still being looked into. They're still being investigated. And I said that it wasn't going to be over. Jim Harbaugh may have gotten away from it, but Sherrone Moore will take the brunt of it now. It is his responsibility. It is him to step up because he did play a part in a lot of the things going on there. A lot has come out during this again, and more violations could be on there, and suspensions and punishments could be on their way for the Michigan Wolverines. And it needs to happen. It needs to happen. It really does. There needs to be repercussions for your actions. It needs to be shown. It needs to happen. Is the national championship season over? Yes. Let's talk about it more now. I said that. I said let's talk about it more after the national championship season was over with. So now we can talk about it. We can talk about what's going on now. The punishment, it's coming. We don't know what's going to happen yet, but more will come out of this. I am sure of it. That was my brief response on the Michigan allegations. My final thoughts are this on the Michigan allegations. Hopefully we can get behind it, but I'm pretty sure that we're going to be talking about it here on Pigskin Frenzy a lot more as we enter college football season of the 2024 season for college football. That just about does it for Pigskin Frenzy, guys. A big thank you for taking some time out of your Tuesday to just sit back, watch, and listen to some college football coverage presented by me. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like each episode, leave comments down below. Spotify, Podbean, and Apple, all you have to do is just share around with others and follow on there as well. X, Instagram, and Facebook, just type in Pigskin Frenzy. Follow, like the pages there. You're going to get episode updates. You're going to get news and highlights from across college and NFL football. You're going to get trivia questions on Instagram stories. Go and answer today's college football question as well as all things up to date for Pigskin Frenzy. Guys, wow, what an episode. Big Ten Media Days recaps done. Media Day recaps done. Michigan allegations, talked about that. We're going to talk about it more probably soon if more stuff comes out. Ready to rock and roll. Big thank you to our partners at the Beard Club. Go and buy their products. Beard Games 2024 sale. The code is GOLD25, 25% off of all products. Guys, check out everything. The link tree, check it out on the description of this YouTube video below. X bio, Instagram bio, Facebook bio, you name it, and website. Check out the website, www.pigskinfrenzy.weebly.com. Enter the free giveaway, by the way. It's on Facebook and Instagram. Go and read off everything. Enter the free kick the season off giveaway for college football and Mississippi State and all SEC fans there. We will be back Thursday, guys, for another NFL edition of Pigskin Frenzy. More training camp news. We're going to talk about the Patriots. We're going to talk about not just the Patriots. We're going to talk about more. We're going to talk about Jaguars training camp, Patriots training camp. We're going to talk about Jaguars training camp. We're going to talk about Colts training camp. So Patriots training camp, Jaguars training camp, and Colts training camp coverage as we head into the NFL season, as we enter more into the preseason. More signings, more deals, more injuries. We're going to talk about it all as we enter, the preseason, as we kick off the NFL preseason and talk about more of the season. Also, we will briefly recap the Hall of Fame game from last Thursday. So that's NFL edition of Pigskin Frenzy Thursday. Next Tuesday, by the way, and I'm excited about this. We are going to do a fun episode. It's a review episode of the college football video game. I've played it, and we're going to talk about some of the best teams to play with on there. We're going to talk about some of the mechanics, if you should buy the game or not. We're going to do a review of the college football 25 video game, fun episode of the video game of the show. It's going to be fun. And then in 2 weeks, we'll talk. We'll get to 2 weeks later as we talk about next episode next week. But that's next Tuesday. Until Thursday's episode of Pigskin Frenzy, I'm Joel Norris signing off. Thank you for listening and watching today. I'm Joel Norris signing off. We will see you Thursday for an NFL edition of Pigskin Frenzy. Jaguars, Patriots, and Colts training camps kicking off. NFL edition of Pigskin Frenzy on Thursday. For everybody out there, please and always have a great rest of your Tuesday. And as always, stay the course.